Dynamite Download.
Dynamite Download, your home for all positive coverage with all elite wrestling.
You guys, positive energy.
This reality, like, it is me. Like,
who let
Oh my gosh!
This is what pro wrestling's supposed to feel like.
I'm saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
I said, Mariah May. She said, who?
Because I'm so driven, and I'm so moved to like what I want to do.
The versus Brian Keith match.
It's awesome. That's so cool. You've got like these creepy ass dudes.
Oldest ride, longest line.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
I never say never about anything.
Yeah.
Back to do an interview with those guys. You know why? Because they spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Yeah! What?
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Dynamite Download, episode 128. It's your boys, Midrunner and SPD, baby. How's it going, bud? Cheers
It's
to
going
that.
great. I am delightfully exhausted from my previous the previous live show I just did on Mission Pro Network with we interviewed the Black Dahlia. I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Tremendous backstory. Courtney was in there, and it was a lot of cool stuff. She's very inspirational. Highly recommend it. But I'm also super excited to talk tonight about not only Dynamite Download, the Dynamite show last night. That was tremendous. But also we do want to talk some rankings as we are on the road to Double or Nothing.
Yes,
And
it is right around the corner. I can't believe season 2 is already coming to an end. It was fast. This probably was a little bit shorter than season 1, but a little insider baseball. Season 3, if you're interested in partaking, is going to be all the way. We're going to have the draft very soon after Double or Nothing. Date TBD, but very soon. And then it will go all the way through All Out.
yes, not all in.
Out. Not all in.
Out.
All Out, which has been moved a little bit farther apart, about I think it's at 13 days apart from All In.
Yeah,
so those are going to be two. If you're on the cusp, coming season 3, All In, All Out, turnaround back to back could really change the landscape of the draft.
Anything
rankings.
can happen.
Let's see what we're at. Let's see where we're at in the draft rankings as of today, Thursday, on the road to the last week of Double or Nothing.
Perhaps for the second to last time this year, it is our Double or Nothing Dynamite draft. And here we go. Look at these numbers. Good googly moogly. I am in first place, but I am looking over my shoulder. Look at the Tide for second.
It's going to be a fight for the finish, just like the Kentucky Derby by a nose hair. We are going to see it. Wow.
Yep.
I do pretty good on the pay-per-view bingo cards. I feel like my percentage, my batting average is pretty high. And man, I just fumbled this one, Dynasty, because if I would have won that, I would have been at 40 and you would have been at 36. That +3 on the bingo card is definitely where you're at. That's what's pushing you over the top right now.
But here's the thing: not only with a +3 at the Double or Nothing card, anything can happen. And we're going to talk about it tonight. Orange Cassidy got his first loss on TV last night, and that was my go-to cash cow. So I was
honestly really surprised with the results of that match. I mean, we're not going to talk about that one first, but I just will say in terms of teams and drafts, I was actually pleasantly surprised with that because my guy Roddy Strong got a point.
Yep.
So I never want to bet against Will Ospreay, no matter what element he's in, whether it be a solo, tag, trios, whatever it is. To me, that he should be one of the untouchables right now at all costs.
Yep.
So we'll see, man. I mean, it is Rampage. They announced the card. I don't think I have anyone on Rampage. Collision, they've only announced one match, which we'll definitely want to talk a little bit about later.
Yes.
Which is going to be fantastic. Which I got two guys. I got a guarantee +1 on that.
Yep.
So we'll see what
anything can happen. It's going to be, and now again, it's going to be a photo finish with the people on the left.
I know.
But if you look on the right, look at the strides that have been made. You've got not only, first of all, Queen Courtney. You know, we should kind of make a side bet. Will Queen Courtney crack 20 points before Double or Nothing? Can she earn 4 points between now and Double or Nothing, or will she crack 20 points at Double or Nothing? I think she's going to be in the 20s, probably mid-20s. And right behind her, underdog story, Bobby has been racking it up. I mean, granted, his boy Kyle O'Reilly took an L last night, but he has been racking like he's got some ringers on his team.
Yeah.
And so for him to get to 12, poor Brent. Moment of silence for Brent, and of course the leftover taker. Now I gotta let us know in the chat, because the leftover taker made the push. He wants that whoever wins this draft has to be the leftover taker next time. So, which means that whoever if I'm the winner, I have to let everybody else participating go through their entire draft, 12 people, before I can draft anybody. I don't know. Let's see what.
I don't know. When I win, I don't want that as my. I don't like that parlay because I enjoy the draft. I think that's one of the part points to be strategic, and that'll make it more. I know Brian was kind of a last edition, and we're of course welcome and love it to have, but to have everyone run it back for season 3, knowing with key learnings, I think it'll be much more competitive and more fun. Leftover taker is just, it's funny, but I think you're really back against the wall.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And Courtney agrees with you too. I think the consensus is straight up fair draft. And we are going to I think we are talking about it. Yeah, but this isn't a reason to join the Dynamite Club, because it's exclusively for Dynamite Club members. If you want to be part of the draft, join the Dynamite Club. Under $3 a month, and you can cancel at any time. Join, but you got to stay in the Dynamite Club during the entire draft, or you might get kicked out. So make sure you sign up. Plus, you get exclusive emojis in the chat. Make sure you sign up for that. Anything can happen. Look, I mean, Craig could pull it off. This is going to be a very, very interesting thing.
Yes, and that's a good segue to talk about what happened last night. A lot of stuff was going on. I think this was a definitely. I mean, just look at the amount of heads on this graphic. Lots of stuff happened in this really go home Dynamite show to Double or Nothing. Granted, we still got 3 hours of TV coming up this week before we get to Double or Nothing, which the card is starting to really shape up overall. But whew, man, there were some really awesome moments in last night's show, both in the ring, on the ramp, backstage, outside, and anything in between. But one of the things I really want to kick things off and talk about is the return of Prince Nana.
Yes.
So every time we hear Swerve's song, I'm looking and peeking around. I'm like, oh man, he's still out. I think what happened post-match with Christian and Swerve was fantastic. I mean, this was just really stepping that up. I know we have a triple minute event for Double or Nothing. However, like, the world title is your main event. Like that's it, period. And so this is really pushing it over the edge of me getting excited for it, because week in and week out, we've seen Swerve, almost like a David versus Goliath back against the wall numbers game, whether it be the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage, or the Patriarchy and anything in between. This was just like, I popped for this. I genuinely popped for this when Christian Cage tried to run away and Prince Nana with his Starbucks just smirking, blocking the way. It was one of the highlights of the night for sure. I absolutely loved it. It's great to have the Prince back. And yes, loved it, man. We were swerving. What did you tell me?
Did he swerve when he drove? Did he
yes,
swerve?
I think he did.
I swerve when I drive and I sip with my coffee.
That's right. He did swerve when he drove to stop Christian from escaping the wrath of Swerve.
Oh, that was tremendous. That was such a pop moment. And that's what I was hoping we have more of, is these kind of moments. That's what makes me enjoy AEW. You know, there's been that feeling where it doesn't quite feel like it used to, but these are the moments that bring me back to those moments, like when Moxley joined the Inner Circle or what have you. This was really cool. And you know, I was like I said, I was with you. I was disappointed not to see Nana coming out with Swerve again, but then that's what led to this moment. That's what made this moment such a poppable moment. And
right.
And again, their rental car bill must be incredible with all the rental cars that they keep destroying. But hey, if you get the collision damage waiver, you don't have to pay for it. But,
that's true. You always want to get that collision damage waiver.
Exactly.
And these guys are definitely getting their money's worth, those rental cars.
If I could say something, and this is going to be a theme about last night's Dynamite, because I have a nitpick, which is also a praise, and they go hand in hand. It's not really a hot take, so I don't even think it's like a hot take. If I could just say, and this is going to be something that's going to come up again and again, every match last night, there was no doubt in my mind who was going to win, with the exception of the first match. The first match was the only one that I was surprised with. However, if you look at the card overall, there weren't very many matches. There wasn't any match other than that first match that I wasn't sure who was going to win. However, the way that AEW constructs their actual in-ring matches, they do such a great job putting the other guy over for the most part. There was maybe one exception last night. They do such a great job putting the person that's going to lose over, making them look so good that I think it balances out a little bit. And there's even been a couple of those last night. I was wondering, hey, maybe something else is going to happen. Maybe there's going to be a different result. So it's a nitpick where I feel like we need some more matches where we're not sure which way it's going to go, just to build some tension. But on the flip side, these matches where it's clear who's going to win, they still are enjoyable matches. They're still worth watching and entertaining, and especially when they end up building a storyline afterwards.
Yeah, and I think one of those performers to me who really stood out was Satnam Singh, the one in a billion giant. And, you know, we rarely, I think this is his second singles match ever. And definitely by far, this is his best singles showing to date easily. Granted, he's in the ring with Bryan Danielson, but man, Satnam Singh came to show up in the main event last night. I was very, very impressed. Yeah. I know it was a shortened main event per se, a shortened match, but I really think he maximized his minutes and really held his own with one of the best in the world with Bryan Danielson. Satnam Singh showed, man, like he's a big man that can go right now. And I was very, very impressed. The whole match, I was very impressed with his pacing, his moves, his selling, and everything in between. And I'm excited to see what the next step is, man. I think he's got in the right hands. Maybe he's got the QT Marshall rub going on right now, and we'll see what's going on, because I think this was this could have been easily overlooked. But if you are a fan and you appreciate growth of wrestlers, like this could be a breakout moment for Satnam Singh. And I think it would be so much beneficial for him to get more opportunities like this as singles. Like we've seen him in tags and trios, and he's used as that, you know, novelty. You come in and a couple big moves and then go back. But this was very impressive to see him on his own, essentially, for the most part, other than his minions all throughout the ring. Yeah. But between the ropes, very impressive.
Absolutely. And, you know, as controversial as Bryan Danielson is in my household, because there's definitely a Full Tilt Deb is very clear how she feels about him. I like the man. I'm not as big a fan in the ring. Of course, we're the rare people. Most people love him in the ring. But Bryan Danielson wouldn't have agreed to this match if he didn't think Satnam Singh was gonna stink. If he thought that Satnam was gonna stink up the ring, he definitely went out of his way to really help Satnam showcase. And the things we don't see, and to your point, like we don't see the work that he's putting in behind the scenes. We don't see he truly, for them to be in this position, this was a moment for him to really come out and show where he's come from. Because again, like you said, he was a novelty at first. He was just this big guy to come in and just anybody want a peanut, and then that was it. And they just walk out. But now he's able to show that he can showcase that he can be kind of you could kind of put him now with Big Show or with Andre, instead of him just being this just this big guy to come in. And now, granted, Big Bill is probably my favorite big guy right now that's in the business, but Satnam really, I think this is something that he got a chance to shine. I agree. A lot of people probably wrote this off before giving it a chance. And even though, the ending of the match, with everything that happened, of course, we'll talk about the aftermath, but I agree. I think this is a showcase for Satnam. I've come around with people like Sky Blue, where I didn't think she was all that, and then now I think she's tremendous. That's the thing, is you got to give these people the time to shine. And I love that AEW does that for the most part with people, is they give them a chance to get that training in. If they're putting the work in, they get that chance. And this was Satnam's chance. Bryan gave it to him, but Satnam had to run with the ball, and I think he did.
And then they ran away, or they got the money and run, take the money and run. And the EVPs come out to finish the job, put the final nail in the coffin. The nail was pounded in. They just got to finish the job. But didn't last long. Danielson did his best to fight back. But wow, I was texting you guys. I was like, all right, cue Darby, 3, 2, 1, because of, the whole storyline throughout the whole show. They had the posters taped throughout the ringside, which was awesome. Didn't they do that for MJF too, or Wardlow?
It was Wardlow, yeah.
But they were getting bigger and bigger. The signs were getting bigger and bigger each week. But when Darby's music hit, I was like, of course. But I did not expect. First off, I did not catch this at first. Who was driving the van? I did not catch it at first. And then rewatching it and hearing it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's hilarious!" It's like he dropped off his son at school almost like this, like AEW.
Yes,
Darby Allin fist pumping TK in his return.
Handed him a lunchbox,
right? Yeah, there was a lot in that lunchbox, that's for sure. Man, this was a great moment leading up to. I felt like, something like this big moment could have been. This feels more of a Dynamite type of move than a Collision move, because I got different vibes for that. But if this was the last thing before the pay-per-view, I think it would have been perfect that way. Like, I would be fine with nothing else other than like leading up to Anarchy in the Arena, because I feel like they've been doing a great job with the build. The Young Bucks just being like these whiny guys, are doing fantastic works. And this is what I've been talking about for week in and week out, like the stuff the Young Bucks are doing. More and more and more pleased of it, telling you to tuck in the shirt and fines, and then this stuff, calling them perverts and screaming, and just the over the top exaggerating emotions. It's just spot on. These guys, I'm eating it up and loving every second of it, just abusing their powers. And even the social media game, you got to follow these guys on social media if you're not, because they're just doing great stuff, just pretty much copy and pasting Tony Khan's tweets, putting them on their own pages. But wow, what was your thought when you saw Darby Allin with a freaking flamethrower? First off, I didn't know what he was carrying when he fist pumped TK, but when he came to the ring and ignited it, what was your thought when that flamethrower went up?
I knew it was a flamethrower when he got out of the car. I'm just glad it wasn't an AR-15. That was what I was afraid of him coming out there. But then when he lit it up, I'm like, what is he going to do with this? And the potential, the hazard potential. I mean, I know he's crazy, but he's crazy for self-harm. At first he kept it upright for most of it, but look what he's wearing. That is not fireproof. In fact, if anything, that little robe jacket he's wearing that looks like Dave. He took it from Dave LaGreca. I mean, he's about like, and there were times where he put his arm down. He's got the flame is going up. Like I was waiting for him to catch fire, either that or melt the ramp, something. But there were some moments where he was not in full control of that flamethrower, and all I was worried about was is that going to accidentally go off, and is he going to torch row section 5 is going to row C is going to get torched? I don't know. I mean, the mark in me was marking out hard, but then there's also the crap, Darby. I mean, this is almost crossing the line, dude. Where are you going? But this is kind of a throwback to that when Eddie Kingston showed up with the gasoline can at the and this is again what match is he setting up for? Anarchy in the arena.
Yeah,
you can't get very much more anarchy than a flamethrower. So, wow.
I mean, the match was there, and he just made it there with this appearance closing out Dynamite.
The flamethrower better be in Fight Forever's Battle Royale mode. It better be in there now. Hey, you heard me right there.
I gotta say, I never expected a flamethrower to be in a wrestling ring,
a
wrestling show at all. And wow,
that's Joey Janela shit right there. That's a Joey Janela thing right there. The flamethrower.
That was
wow.
I'm still like, I literally laughed out loud in like mark awe of just like excitement and like awesomeness when this happened. I was like, I could not believe it.
And to me, this was not the most OMG moment of the entire night.
No,
this was not the most disturbing, awesomely and almost scary moments of the entire night. It was close, but that was the runner-up in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This was, as we've talked about on our show for a while now, the games that House of Black are playing. And well, first off, I want to preface, I'm not one for color for matches, so that kind of gives me squeamy. But I'm putting this up because I know this is not real color. It's
Jerry
the
Cobbler
games that Cope is playing. Anyways, okay, but when we were talking about our show for many, many weeks about, is he going to that darker side, the brood side?
Yeah.
And then for him to give Malachi Black a bloodbath, that was just totally unexpected. Such a wow factor of the night. And that promo and his grin and his smirk and his smile. Oh man, this ride of Cope is just getting better and better. And
yeah,
I hope everyone's buckled in because let's go to the next level.
I want to point something out too. I noticed last night, and I'm glad you had the picture for it. Bottom left picture. Notice his Malachi Black's funky eye is the one that's covered with blood and shut.
Okay.
So it's almost a reverse of the mist. Because now he's got hit. Remember, he's always had that funky eye. His normal eye is fine. What's been affected by perhaps Copeland's mist, if you will, is his other eye. So I don't know if that's symbolic or accident, whatever, but I just think that's kind of significant. But yeah, just when you thought the Hangman and Swerve match was too bloody, we get the Carey reenactment.
Yeah, this was, after a match that could have really had more meat on the bones with Kyle O'Reilly and Malachi Black, I think their styles mesh so well together that I want more of it. I don't know if it was a protection thing leading up to the pay-per-view or what, but I would love to see that ran back because their styles with their kicks and their grappling and their groundwork and their standing work all has really good together. So I'm interested to see them go and run it back together again on kind of a more blank slate and not as crunch time, because I know this story had to be told even more. But I can't wait, man. I cannot wait for what's in store with that. A steel cage match wrapped in barbed wire. Nah, I'll pass. I would never want to be part of that.
I have Darby level. I have Pac, don't tear your ACL level fear for this match. I mean, because things can go horribly wrong. We saw what happened with the cage match with FTR when Cash almost like hung himself on his foot. He got his foot caught. There's things that can happen. Things can happen, go really sideways. So I hope they're careful, but it's going to be an awesome match. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's funny you said those 3 letters in that name, because one of the biggest mark out moments of the night was obviously we had breadcrumbs leading to this.
Yes.
And we had hints, because Pac doesn't have too many allies. And one of his brothers that have been through with him all this. And we just saw a few weeks ago my waiver wire pickup, Ray Phoenix on Team SPD, come back. And we kind of were hoping and crossing our fingers all this, but Death Triangle is back, reformed, easily the best trios team in all of wrestling, in my opinion, with their chemistry, their style, everything they do. As a Young Bucks fan and an Elite fan, I feel like this trios, though, is just so damn good with everything, with their presentation, their looks, their vibes, their style. Wow. Total package with the Death Triangle. And it's so great to have them back. Miero.
And, we were hoping for the Bullet Club Gold to get I wanted them to have a formidable opponent. And we weren't sure. I mean, Pac, I'm looking forward to just a singles Pac versus Jay White match. But
agreed.
When this happened last night, and then we got to see it like that, at first I was just thinking, is Pac just going to cut a promo? But then we heard, they did the Ray Penta Pac. I mean, this is going to be.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
This is a pay-per-view match, and this is worth the price of admission right here. Just these 6 guys going at it, and Collision. I understand we're getting a taste. We're getting a taste of this, right, on Collision, or is it?
Yeah, we are getting it. That's the only match that was announced so far on Collision, which is Lucha Brothers versus the Guns, 2 of our favorite tag teams in all of AEW. It's nice to see the Guns in tag team action, and of course the Lucha Brothers, former champs and amongst themselves, in action as well. So this is a marquee matchup for Collision. This is a pre-pay-per-view type of match that we're getting on free TV, and I cannot wait. I mean, you talk about Death Triangle and Lucha Brothers, whether it be trios or tag team, those are benchmarks to tag team wrestling and benchmarks to trios. If you can get through those gatekeepers, you have established yourself. And not many teams are like that. You can also put the FTR in there as well, just based on their workhorse and their style and their 7-time champs. So I feel like this is definitely going to be the Guns' biggest tag team test.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. Incredible. Yeah. And the Lucha Brothers, Pac is like this too, but the Lucha Brothers are famous. They're kind of like them, and the Bucks have this knack, and Will Ospreay's cut from the same cloth. I'd argue Kenny Omega as well. Is they have a knack that every match they have there's gonna be something new. Like they're not like the comedian that tells the same jokes. They're not the wrestler that just does their same finisher. There's always something new. Now they'll still do their classic finishers, right? But they always try. They want to try something new, and they're going to be bringing some new stuff. And the Guns, you're right. This is going to really showcase how ready the Guns are for prime time, like ready for that, to be at that level. And this is what they need. And the Lucha Brothers are really going to help them look good. Pac and Jay White. This whole thing is now, it's like surprise steak dinner, and I'm ready to feast.
And since the Bullet Club Gold has gotten the belts, the unified trios, we've wanted to see more and more of them in the ring. They've got it backstage, the promos, the swagger, everything, the social media game. But we've wanted them to showcase almost like an open challenge and just really take names and kick some ass in the ring week in and week out. And unfortunately, we haven't had that. And so now it's nice to see, the start of that. And then this tells me, like, if these two teams can feud together, and then Pac and Jay White can feud together, then all 3-on-3 can feud together. Like, there's a lot of meat on the bones that would really get us excited.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I don't know who to root for, to be honest with you. I mean, I want to do Guns Up. One hand wants to do Guns Up. The other wants to do Cero Miedo.
Yeah. Lucha Brothers are my favorite tag team. So as much as I love the Bullet Club Gold and the Guns, like we, like you've said before, when we all win.
Yep, we're the ones that win in this case. Exactly.
So the women's match of the night, the tag team match, which you've been, clamoring for. We all have, kind of tag team titles, which to me, I still feel like we're a little ways away, but I hope it's coming. Just based on the time they get in the ring each week. If they give them keep a little bit more, and they really start to establish some pure tag teams, then I think you're ready. I think it would do the division a disservice if you put tag team titles in the division without true tag teams that are kind of like
you got to develop them. Yeah,
you got to develop some tag teams, and you could easily do that, and you did do that for a little while. But you first start to develop some really good tag teams that are fighting tag matches in and out, not solo here, then team up, then create them a tag team. But this one, Harley Cameron getting featured, 3 weeks in a row with top-notch performers in Tony and Mariah May. This tag team match, I think, it got its flowers from the crowd. It got its flowers from all of us here at Dynamite Download. And these four ladies really knocked it out of the park, and it was a great showcase and really did a fantastic job with this tag match in Dynamite.
Fantastic. I'm with Bobby. I mean, I love that Harley Cameron's getting showcased more. I loved Harley Cameron's antics, the craziness and all that stuff. But again, week in and week out, this is the third time she has really shined in the ring. Granted, she's not Vikingo, she's not, doing like backflips and all that kind of stuff, but she, like her role in these matches, she's knocking it out of the park. She knows when to sell. She's athletic enough to do the moves. She's got personality. She reacts well with her facial expressions. Hats off to Saraya. I wasn't sure if she was like feeling enough good to come back in the ring. They did. You gotta love though Tony Storm. I mean, Mariah May, again, these are four of the best in the women's division. Saraya's wrestling condition, depending on how she's doing. But as far as Mariah May, Tony Storm, Harley Cameron, fantastic. The moment that really just made me just love this match was when they had the moment where Harley Cameron fell down, Saraya fell face first into her crotch, and Tony Storm pulled the Nelson from Simpsons like, and that was icing on the cake. And going back to your point about the tag team titles, I do agree with you as much as I want them, but you do need to if they start establishing some tag teams, right? Saraya and Harley Cameron could be that tag team, or like we've said before, the Outcast, they need that third muscle member. And if you put, come on, behave yourselves, by the way, when I say muscle member, don't go there. But as far as Harley Cameron, and if you bring in a muscle person to be their third member, you've got yourself a formidable tag team, and you've got Tony Storm, Mariah May. You can, there's so many possibilities you can go with this. And I think that this would have been my match of the week on the Mission Pro show had I not also watched a match on WWE. Don't tell anybody. But there was that. But I think that this is the level that AEW women's matches need to be. I've also, both Full Tilt Deb and I say we actually love the tag team women's matches more than the singles for some reason.
Okay.
And I think it's just the variety or the interactions, what have you. Tag team wrestling's great because you always get that hot tag moment. My only nitpick is something I'm sure we'll talk about. I'm having a hard time really. I don't know if they're quite sure where they want to go with Serena Deeb or Toni Storm. It does seem like now Serena Deeb's the heel in this feud between Toni Storm and Serena Deeb, but I don't know, because Serena Deeb came in, she was almost like babyface with her struggle, but I don't know. What did you think of the post match to this?
I think the last is one of those, like, the crowd, they're listening to the crowd, and it's an unfortunate because they're pushing her as a babyface, Serena Deeb, and Toni Storm, as I've mentioned before, like, can be pushed either way, but she'll always go back to center of gravity of the fans just loving her no matter what, just because of the uniqueness and characters. It's like, I hate to say it like WWE, but we're wrestling fans. Like Bray Wyatt, could have been evil in the heel, but because of his uniqueness aura, is like one of those baby faces. And Toni Storm is so fun to root for, even if she is going against some of your favorites and playing that role. But also WWE or the booking with AEW here in the women's division, they're not doing her any favors if they're trying to give her that heel vibe, putting her against Carly and Saraya, all that. So, and then Serena Deeb, I think the crowd's quickly going to boo her and cheer Toni. And I think they got to be prepared for that and make that decision and turn Serena back heel where she's really a strong heel.
Well, and going back to it, because there's two constants in AEW specifically. If you want someone to be a despised heel, you have them beat up Rio. And what did Serena Deeb do when she turned? Nobody cared about Serena Deeb until she tried to beat up Rio way back. And I want to say this was pandemic era. This is when they're still in Jacksonville. She had a 0-hour match and with Rio, and she tried to break her leg, and that's when she really started to take off as a heel. And that's the thing too. And nothing kills a baby face. Nothing really takes the wind out of a baby face than having them face a heel that everybody loves.
Oh,
because whenever you put a heel, whenever you put a baby face against somebody like, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but if you put them against somebody like, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who's better than them and they know it, that's when you really destroy any chances that they're going to get over. I mean, they can't get over on their own, but if they're going to wrestle MJF, they're not getting over at all. They might as well just cash it in and go back to the indies. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Here's our endorsement.
That's as much endorsement you'll get from MJF, and you know it.
Side note, sorry, I'm coughing. Side note, without over analyzing, when do you think we see MJF next?
Okay. Let me preface it with this. Tony Khan had he had a media call this morning. He said that he's excited about some of the surprises he's got in store for Double or Nothing. Here's the problem: the Tony that cried wolf. When Tony's surprises, they could be Batista is signed. They could also be, hey, I just got the rights to Funko Pops for Funko Pop Wrestling. It could be, hey, I just bought the rights to Okimeskookie Wrestling in Alaska and in Antarctica. It's like that's the thing, and so it could be something. It could be something as awesome as the triple debut of Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson, or it could be something that we're just not like we're prepared for. So anything can happen. However, having said that, with the idea that Swerve is going to retain against Christian, and if we're going to book Swerve versus Ospreay for All In, Swerve needs a very, very formidable and interesting antagonist. And Swerve is one of the rare baby faces that could go up against everybody's favorite scumbag and be compelling enough to hold his own. So he
I
could
don't
be
want
coming
MJF
back.
to be in the title picture anytime soon.
Okay.
When he returns, because he's captivating. Even when he was the champ, like, yes, I personally did really enjoy his run, but even as the champ, I don't think he necessarily needed that belt to be as likable and over. I know it's a notch on the belt and an accolade that everyone strives to go for. That being said, I feel like MJF could carry a program alone that has nothing to do with world title picture. Hence it just makes perfect sense, like, to get re-involved with Adam Cole.
Yeah,
somehow,
you're right.
Which we will definitely not see MJF anytime soon. Other than, I think, Forbidden Door, because it's the greatest place on earth, Long Island, New York.
Yep.
So that gives you a full month of build and teasers and hype. By then, that is a full 6 months off of TV. Even if he's not cleared to wrestle, you could have him show up in some aspect, like Forbidden Door. Okay, so the unfortunate aspect is the last time we saw Adam Cole was at Dynasty. I was there over a month ago. He returned and walked miraculously. Since then, he's been MIA, which to me is very interesting. I don't know why they teased that with us. No more wheelchair, no more neck brace, none of that stuff. And then you're just like not even helping your UK team members out ever. You know, the commentary stuff was great with him. Just show up at your presence alone as the quote unquote leader. Whole nother topic we could talk about that, a whole nother show. So it makes sense, like, because of the hometown aspect. I'm sure there will be a ton of MJF chance. He comes back at Forbidden Door. That gives you the build for All In. You're building it All In August for whatever match, whatever reason you came back, and that's perfect. For his in-ring return at All In, his AEW television return at Forbidden Door.
Absolutely. And I still think Wardlow's going to turn on Adam Cole and join forces with MJF. So we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. That's for sure. Someone, I want to talk about this guy, Mr. Cheese himself, the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, which was on commentary last night, now has a triple threat match for the FTW Championship, who is the longest reigning for the world champion right now at 33 days. Well, 34 if we count today. The double submission on the Bounty Hunter with Hook and Shibata, now calling out that for the triple threat of FTW. I really liked Jericho on commentary. Obviously, I always do. I think the cheesiness is getting more and more every single week, and I'm here for it. Hey guys, hi guys, and it just his tone and his voice is different. And then Big Bill is even like leaning into that cheesiness, and I'm here for it. What do you feel about it?
And if you're missing out if you haven't been following Big Bill and Chris Jericho on Instagram, because they're cutting these daily motivational learning tree promos that are just so, like, there's such a mockery of all those actual, like, self-help. And again, this is coming from a guy that hosts a mental health podcast. And I understand, because a lot of that stuff is not genuine. It's just like, just never never stop, never stopping, or like those kind of just motivational posts that really don't mean anything. And they're doing all these like learning tree kind of mockery things, and it's comedy gold if you read between the lines of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I have two nitpicks but I do think this is getting better. Jericho's really making this more interesting than it could have been. I can't believe they did my man Brian Keith the way they did. I mean, they kind of did him dirty with this double tap out. If anything, I was hoping they would be like if Brian Keith would win somehow or something like that. I don't know,
Right.
but it's interesting how they did that. And secondly, wouldn't it have been cool if Jericho freaks out? He says, since it's there's you both won. Yeah, it's now a fatal 4-way because I've also just decided that Big Bill has earned a shot. And then so now you've got Big Bill in the title shot with them. And then at Double or Nothing, you have Big Bill win the FTW belt. And you know where I'm going with this. At Dynamite, there's a rematch. Jericho has a match with Big Bill for the belt and Finger Poke of Doom.
Well, because FTW rules, I think Big Bill is for sure going to get involved in some aspects. So,
of course.
I mean, there's still so much meat on the bones for Jericho's FTW run, which I never knew I wanted, but I'm excited for. So I feel like that is definitely in store. Hopefully that could be a good transition to Hook and Shibata having a singles match. And
you think we'll get Ricky Starks showing up?
For what level? Like, where would he come in play?
Well,
like, I don't want Ricky to be involved in FTW personally because he's been there.
No,
done
but
that.
Jericho took Ricky away. I took Big Bill away from Ricky, so maybe kind of sparking some kind of Ricky Jericho thing. Not necessarily for the FTW belt, but a feud.
Yeah,
of some kind. I don't know. I just miss Ricky Starks.
No, I miss him too. I'm just like, it's some of those where we can see something from a perspective but it's like, what does TK have in mind, or what does he think? Like, where would he put him? Because we always we fantasy booked our all in card, of the matches, and then we'll have to cross compare once it gets closer to really see kind of how he plays out the landscape. Like, obviously he's Oz, he controls all, so it'd be interesting in that point. But that being said, like the Double or Nothing card so far, not to dive too deep into it, but other than the two matches that are not added on this card, we got the triple main event. What are your top two matches that you're looking forward to right now?
You can right off the bat, it's
not
on there, but of course the Death Triangle versus Bullet Club Gold.
I think that's definitely a marquee match for sure. Death Triangle versus Bullet Club Gold has main event potential written all over it on a stacked card. I'm so excited for that one. For me, one of mine, just because of the insane characters and storytelling and everything that's been going around last week, is Anarchy in the Arena. I cannot wait for Anarchy in the Arena.
Will there be a flamethrower? Maybe that what should be the tiebreaker? How much flamethrower? How long the flamethrower is on the screen?
It's got to be something measurable. It can't be a yes or no. So that's always got to be the tiebreaker. What else? What's the other one for top two?
Honestly, the cage match, the barbed wire cage match is, I'm looking forward to Swerve versus Christian, even though there's no way in heck that Christian's going to win. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also hoping that there's going to be some pops, like, and watching Will Ospreay wrestle like I said, he could wrestle a tree and make it look exciting. So, yeah, I think that my match, my top three in this order is Lucha Brothers versus Bullet Club Gold, Anarchy in the Arena, and then I would say Copeland versus Malachi Black. I do want to watch Will Ospreay wrestle. I think Moxley versus Takeshita. I think Takeshita needs to beat Moxley for that, so he gets the title shot at Forbidden Door.
The first Eliminator match win
with a win, yes, that needs to happen.
There's a couple, like, as we are gearing closer very, very soon, and we're going to put together our bingo card. Probably have to do it, post it online Sunday before the show, Sunday morning after Collision. We'll post Collision, we'll post the bingo card because stuff could change after
You're right.
Collision. I mean, the card is pretty much shaped out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 matches. So honestly, I don't know if we're going to see many matches, anything else other than pre-show stuff. So 10 matches on the main card because you're also talking that triple threat. The trios match. So I think it's pretty solid. And top to bottom, this card is very, very, very solid. I think there's going to be some really, just when you start talking about like, oh, this one's going to be my favorite, this one's going to be a favorite, then you're like, well, what about this? What about this? Like, I feel like, unfortunately, no, I'm not going to mention anything negative, but I do think Moxley versus Takeshita could be one of those like show-stealing matches. Same with Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay, because those guys, you know, we just got a taste of them in the ring yesterday, a taste of them together. And after that short back and forth battle backstage, I was like, whoa, hook, line, and sinker, sign me up. These guys are heated versus each other. These guys got some history. And that really gave that next layer of that 7-layer dip that you want to eat for this match, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, hold that thought, because look what we got here.
Hey!
We got ourselves a super chat.
By God, it's a super chat party.
Busting out the new super chat. Look at that. Oh! Knocked out.
I got to get the new Young Bucks pumps in a couple days.
Make sure if you don't take it from us, take it from Okada.
That's awesome. The thoughts, and hopefully JR is doing well. I don't know if you saw that he got admitted to the hospital with little illness, and so hopefully he pulls through and is fine. And it's good to get things checked out if you're not so certain what's going on. So hopefully the good old JR is back better than ever when he beats whatever's going on with him. So I like that. My God, it's a super chat party. That's a new one. I haven't seen that yet.
And the camera getting kicked off. That everybody's popping for
I got to be gentle or else the show will not go on. You guys, we're going to wrap things up for episode 128. Stay tuned to our channel for upcoming shows throughout the week and very soon, both with any specials we got going on. The next Friday Night Flights and Fights will most likely be next week. Mindrunner and I have to talk about it. We'll probably roll it every other week, maybe every third week, something like that. Just ease back into that Friday Night Flights and Fights. Mm-hmm. And then, of course,
we got our Saturday night preview show, though, right?
We will have the preview show, and then we will also have Dynamite Download episode 129 next week. I mean, lots going on. So that's why you got to subscribe, put that bell notification there, and always tune into our socials and find us and where we're going to go. We'll always post out when we're going to have a show and the links on our Twitter/X. And yes, man, what are your thoughts, man, going into Double or Nothing this week?
I'm excited. I think Double or Nothing is going to be tremendous. I don't know why my space didn't work. No, I'm excited. I think this is going to be great. I'm just glad that this is going to sum it up right there. I'm just glad Monday's a holiday, because there's going to be a lot of people, I think, with the pay-per-view hangover. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's one thing that AEW tends to have good pay-per-views, even if the booking up to the pay-per-views have been hit or miss. The pay-per-views have been great, but I felt like last night's Dynamite was pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be tremendous, and I don't know about you guys, but also just to really quickly take a look here, we're going to have some of these numbers. Just take a look at these numbers, because these are going to change in the next few days. These are going to change drastically.
3 hours of wrestling plus 4+ hours of pay-per-view. That's a lot of matches that could be at stake and points on the line for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be in touch. And yes, it is all double or nothing time. It is, can't believe it's already here. And it's the 5th year anniversary of AEW. So double or nothing was the 5th year anniversary. So thank you guys for joining us always. We love having you in the chat and support, and we'll see you soon.
Hasta la vida.